Hey, so this is my 1999 Porsche Boxster, and when I went to put up the convertible top the other day, I heard this loud kind of popping or snapping noise, and long story short, what happened, looks like this is supposed to be on a track inside, and somehow that came out of the mechanism that's supposed to hold it in place on a track. So that came out of the socket, and then on this side of the top there's this actuator here, and there's actually a bolt end to it that goes into the transmission, they call it, for the top, and that bolt end actually came out all together. Yeah, that's what it looks like there. So this end was completely out of the transmission, and the clamshell's all shifted and very crooked, so I'm not too sure what to do about it. What I think I'm gonna do is remove the clamshell. There's 3 10mm nuts holding it on either side. So I'll remove that, and then I'm gonna try to take this socket here and put it back into, there's a circular clip, or just kind of, let's see if you can see it there. Alright, so far I moved the clamshell. That was simple enough. Just be careful when you do undo one of your last screws. Just be ready to grab the clamshell. It's not too heavy. Put it aside somewhere safe. And then after that, what I did was I put the Boxster top into maintenance mode. These just kind of pull off where they connect down there. And then this little cloth piece was clipped underneath. So that was easy enough. I removed the little plastic fairing that comes off of here relatively simply, like so. And now I'm working on reattaching the actuator on that side, and then hopefully I can put this back in the track on that side. Alright, so I was able to put that little joint over here back together. Now there's not really too much play on this side when I go to wiggle it. Now that that's back in the track. On this side, however, I was able to reattach that hydraulic arm there, but there is a lot of play in it. So when I wiggle it, a fair amount of play. Over here, not a lot of play. So I'm not too sure if that's due to the, maybe like a bad hydraulic arm, or what exactly is causing that difference, or if it even matters. Alright, so I tested out the top mechanism going up and down, and it seems to be working. Everything looked coordinated, everything looks even, but when I went to put back on the clamshell, it wasn't going back on. It seems like it's a little bit warped. So I have to figure out if I can bend that or twist that back in shape a little bit. An update on this project: before I had a friend come over to help me twist the clamshell back into shape, I took a closer look at everything and noticed that the actual clamshell attachment arms are a little bit off in their position. One side, the driver's side, is actually a couple inches higher than the passenger side, so I'm trying to figure out exactly how to line those two back up, make sure they're even, and then worry about making sure that the clamshell is straight. Okay, with the top in the service position, what I did was I went and I disconnected each arm from the sliding, let me see, right there, from the plastic slider, and then I pulled it off the ball as well. I disconnected both cables, and then I ran it with the cordless drill until I got a measurement from the center of the ball where the black hydraulic arm came off of to the top of the weather stripping, just under 7 3/4 of an inch. It's supposed to be 7.7 inches. Did that for both sides, and what I wound up with was the top near the closed position, pretty even. So what I'm gonna do now is reattach everything, and then hopefully that does the trick. So I reconnected everything after measuring for that 7.7 inches, reattached the arms and the ball sockets, and again, the driver's side looks like it's a couple inches lower than the passenger side, and it's pinching back here, this weather stripping, when top is about, I don't know, just past service position. So it's got a lot of tension on the weather stripping there. I really don't want to go any further back. This side though looks good, so I'm not too sure. So even though the measurements were the same back by the transmission and the weather stripping, I did notice that the header was a little bit uneven in the front. So what I'm doing now is I made a measurement here between the corner of the top and the corner of the roof, and got the measurement the same on both sides. Right now they're both 1.5 inches. So I'm going to reconnect the cable on the driver's side that I had to back off a little bit and try it again. So after I went by looking at the front of it and taking that measure from the front corner to the top, I got the same thing. It was pinching the weather stripping again when the top was just under halfway back. Same thing as in that previous clip. Now with the top almost all the way closed, you could see the difference in the two sides. So I'm not really too sure what's going on. Alright, so what I reverted to is leaving everything connected on the side I'm having issues with, which is the driver's side. Keeps backing up into the rubber weather stripping. So I left everything connected, disconnected the cable on that side, and operated the drill, and I measured between two fixed points on both sides, between the center of this bolt here on the transmission and between the center of that rivet there. Made sure I got exactly the same thing. I'm going off of this side because this is the known good side, so hopefully that works. So I'm still not too sure what the issue is, even after adjusting it, making sure that they were even, going off of points, that transmission bolt and that rivet I just showed you. Once these get to the furthest back position, this arm is still really pinching down there, a lot of tension on it, and that arm is still looking good. So I don't know where to go from here. It is able to open up all the way. The light doesn't go off the dashboard, but I don't know if that's because the clamshell is off at this point or not. But yeah, the arms still are uneven.